warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nur Alfi Yunita. I am from class 5 AG2. Okay, I will present about the theoretical concept of discourses and discourses analysis. Okay, let's get started. What is a theoretical concept? Theoretical concept is the identification of theory that are used as the basic for thinking to carry out our research. It is an abstract idea conceived in the mind of a scholar, a specialist in a particular branch of study, e.g., our expert research that defines a trend in an academic discipline. The theoretical concept of discourses and discourses analysis refer to abstract idea conceived in the mind of scholars specialists in a particular branch of study, e.g., author express research, that define the term discourses and discourses analysis. Okay, next, what do we have to learn? Gain understanding on discourses and discourses analysis by using two sources. Number one, virtual sources. Definition derived from a variety of online sources on the internet. Number two, individual sources. Definition proposed by scholars in linguistics. Both of these will alternately be discussed in this section. Okay, next, where is the word discourses historical derived? From historical perspective, the word discourses is derived from Latin discourse, which means conversation, speech. Therefore, discourses refers to the means of language, which contain confers a very broad term in the disciplines of humanity, e.g., sociology, anthropology, psychology. Okay, next, what do virtual courses say about discourses? Gain understanding on discourses from virtual sources. From Bright Online Dictionary, discourses is communication in speech or reading. Dictionary.com, discourses denotes communication of thought by words, e.g., or conversation. Oxford Online Dictionary, discourses is reading or spoken communication. Free Dictionary.com, discourses is verbal expression in speech or reading. Merriam-Webster.com, discourses is verbal exchange of ideas, specifically conversation. Okay, next, what do individual sources linguists say about discourses? Why linguists? Because discourses here is described from the vantage point of linguistics, specifically in the viewpoint of applied linguistics. At Monson, 1981, says that discourses is a structural event manifested in linguistic behavior or others, whereas text is an argument of structural linguistic expression which form a unity. Carlson, 1983, records that discourses is a series of continuous utterances, a sequence of individual sentences. So it does not only consist of utterances or sentences which are grammatically well formed. Cook, 1990, claims that discourses is kind of language in use from communication. Crystal, 1992 states that discourses in a continuous search of specially spoken language that a sentence often constituting a correct unit used as a sermon argument, joke, or narrative. Shearfrin, 1994, consider that discourses is the study of any aspect of languages. Okay, next, can you identify mutually search concept between the two sources of definition? Here we can identify three things. Number one, linguistic process, e.g., communication linguistic equals search of continuous utterances, continuous search of language as. Number two, linguistic product, e.g., speech, writing, spoken, written, text, sentence, linguistic expression. Number three, linguistic quality, e.g., grammatical, well format, and correct. Okay, next is discourses. Based on the three similar concepts, the definition of discourses is then formulated as the use of current linguistic expression, either speech or text, for communication. Okay, next, what do virtual sources say about discourses analysis? Gain understanding on discourses analysis from virtual sources. Wikipedia.com. Discourses analysis or discourses studies is a general term for a number of approaches to analyze written, vocal, or language as or any significant semiotic event. HTTPS www.thoughts.com. Discourses analysis is a broad term for the study of the ways in which language is used between people, both in written text and spoken context. HTTPS www.linguisticsociety. Discourses analysis is sometimes defined as the analysis of language beyond the sentence. Okay, next, what do individual sources linguists say about discourses? Stop 1983, discourses analysis refers to the attempts to study the organization of language above the sentence or above the clause, and therefore to study larger linguistic units such as conversation, exchanges, or written text. Brochi and Yolchi, 1988. The analysis of discourses is necessary. The analysis of language in us, as such, it cannot be refuted to the description of linguistic form independent of the purpose or function which those forms are designed to serve in human affairs. Schifrin, 1994. A discourses analysis is the examination of language used by members of a speech community. It involves looking at the both language form and language function. It includes the study of the spoken interaction and written text, identifying linguistic features that characterize different genera as well as social and cultural factors that aid in our interpretation and understanding of different texts and type of thought. Damon and Douglas A. 2001. Discourses analysis is the examination of language as by member of a speech community. It involves looking at the both language form and language function and includes the study of both spoken interaction and written text. The identify linguistic feature the characterization a different genres as well as social and cultural factors that aid in our interpretation and understanding of different texts and type of thought. McCarthy, 2002. Discourses analysis describe the interrelationship between language and its context. Slambroch is 2003. Discourses analysis refers to attempts to study the organization of language above the sentence of above the clause, and therefore to study linguistic units such as conversation, changes or written text. Hannon 2014. Discourses analysis is sometimes defined as the analysis of language beyond the sentence. This contrasts with type of analysis more typical of modern linguistics, which are safely concurrent with the study of grammar, the study of similar bits of language such as sounds, phonetic and phonology, part of word morphology, meaning semantic, and the order of word in sentence syntax. Discourses analysis study language of language as they flow together. Woods, 2014. The analysis of discourses, frequently defined as language as above the level of the sentence. Provide student with the opportunity to study the mindful production and interpretation of the text and thought. Okay, next. Can you identify mutually shared concept between the two sources of definition? Here we can identify four things. Number one, linguistic analysis. To analysis attempts to study opportunity, to study, to describe, to identify. Number two, linguistic process. Language as the organization of language. Number three, linguistic product. Written text, spoken interaction, interpretation of text and thoughts, linguistic from language function. And number four, linguistic quality, meaningful, significant. Next, what is discourses analysis? The four components specifically have simplified the formalization of discourses analysis definition, in which it is defined as attempts to analyze the organization of language as in terms of written text and spoken interaction, to identify significant language forms and function. To this point, it is obviously to know that students studying discourses analysis must undertake the analysis for discourses according to Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary. Analysis is a careful study of something to learn about its parts, what they do, and how they are related to each other. In other words, the students are required to carry out a careful study of language as to learn about the language parts, each form and function, what they do in language, and how they are related to each other to forms meanings in the language. Okay, next, what can be expected from doing discourses analysis? The analysis of discourses is expected able to encourage the student. Number one, to examine thematic links. The ideas relate to each other in the term of the meaning in written text or in spoken interaction. Number two, to analysis structure, rules used in language form and texture semantic. Uh, Interdependence function in written text or in spoken interaction to consider the construction and interpretation of meaning in the discourses. Number three, to discuss whether the discourses can be classified as belonging to a particular register, the level of formality or informality, or genre, culture, and linguistical distinct from. And number four, to analyze the discourses in relation on assumption about the relationship between the speaker written and the repeats of message. Okay, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.